Welcome back, everybody. We're diving deep today into Forgive, Forget, Fall.
Oh, that's a good one.
I really enjoyed this book by Melissa Morgan. Listeners are always looking for the most efficient way to get the key insights from a book. So we're going to do that today with this one.
It's got a lot going on. I mean, you've got romance,
Yeah.
you've got mystery. There's even this like almost supernatural element to it. And then woven through all of that is this exploration of forgiveness.
Yeah. And just the idea of memory and what is reality and how reliable are our perceptions. I mean,
Right.
that really comes into play with this story.
Absolutely.
So let's start, I guess, kind of at the beginning. We meet Lottie,
Lottie, our main
our
character.
protagonist, yeah. And she is rebuilding her life after this really toxic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's Matt, who
Yeah.
starts off as kind of a friend, a confidant,
Right.
but he's got this secret agenda.
That's right. And it's connected to their siblings. So you've got Lottie's brother, Charles, and Matt's sister, Lizzie,
Yeah,
married to each other.
right.
So there's already connection there. But then you have this whole other layer of Matt's Project Revenge,
Yes.
which just adds this amazing level of conflict to the story.
But what I find so interesting about Matt is he's not this purely, like, villainous
Right.
character. I mean, he is seeking revenge, but you also sense there's something else going on there.
Oh, absolutely. You can tell right away that he's drawn to Lottie.
Yeah.
And it creates this push and pull dynamic throughout the book.
Yeah, and one of the things I really liked right from the beginning was this whole concept of the reality shift,
Oh, yeah.
where only Lottie and Matt remember, like, their past lives.
It's such a unique premise.
It is. And I was immediately hooked because I thought, wow, what does that say about memory? And how much do our past experiences shape us?
It really makes you question what is real, right? Like
Yeah.
if we're the only ones who remember something, did it even happen?
And can you redefine yourself?
Mm.
Even if you're the only one who is aware of that change.
It's a fascinating question.
Okay, so another thing that I love about this book is the setting.
Oh, yeah.
A ski trip in Norway.
Oh, so atmospheric.
Talk about atmosphere. I mean, you're immediately transported there. You feel the cold, you can hear the snow,
Right.
and it sets the stage for, not only adventure, but maybe a little romance.
When that isolation of the Norwegian wilderness really plays a crucial role, I think.
Yeah.
It forces the characters to confront their feelings and their secrets because there's literally nowhere to hide.
Exactly.
And there's this feeling that the landscape mirrors the emotions that they're dealing with. This vastness and complexity.
And Morgan does such a good job of contrasting that with the cozy atmosphere of the inn.
Oh, absolutely.
Where everybody is staying. It's like the safe haven in the midst of this wild, unforgiving landscape. So
Exactly.
you have this push and pull of vulnerability and safety.
And we see both tension and humor play out within that setting.
Yes.
Remember that scene where Lottie and Matt are snowed in at the inn and they end up watching Hot Fuzz?
Oh.
It's such a funny, relatable moment.
It is.
And it gives you a little break from all the heavier stuff.
Yes, it felt so real, too. Like
Yeah.
something that could happen to any two people
Exactly.
who are kind of stuck together.
Yeah, just trying to figure each other out.
But then, of course, there are those moments where the facade cracks
Mm-hmm.
and you see Matt's true feelings start to surface. Like the
Right.
hot tub scene where he completely loses his cool.
It makes you wonder, is he really this good of an actor? Or is that a genuine glimpse of vulnerability?
I know, and it's a question I think that we keep asking ourselves throughout the book
Absolutely.
because we're trying to figure him out right along with Lottie.
Right. Is he really falling for her? Or is this all part of his revenge plan?
It's so clever how Morgan keeps us guessing.
Oh, totally.
And then to learn about the origins of Project Revenge.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was a gut punch for me.
It's heavy stuff.
To think that it all stemmed from his sister Lizzie's experience
Right.
with Lottie's brother Charles.
It adds so much depth to their dynamic.
It does, and it really makes you think about,
Mm.
Can you separate someone from their family's actions?
Right.
Can Lottie be held accountable for what Charles did?
And is Matt's quest for revenge justified?
These are tough questions.
They are.
And it's even more complicated because as the story unfolds, Matt's desire for revenge seems to morph into something else. Like you start to see these flickers of real emotion,
Right.
these moments where his mask slips.
Mm.
And you wonder, are his feelings for Lottie overshadowing his initial motivations?
It's what makes him so fascinating as a character.
Yeah.
He's this blend of anger and vulnerability.
Mm,
And you're constantly trying to figure out which side is going to win out.
exactly. And then, of course, there's that huge moment when Lottie discovers his true intentions.
Oh, yeah.
which just completely shatters her trust.
It changes everything.
It does.
It's a real turning point.
For both of them.
Absolutely.
Because they're forced to confront the consequences of their actions.
And the truth about how they really feel.
Ugh, my heart just broke for Lottie in that moment.
I know, it's rough.
I mean, she had really opened herself up to him.
And to find out it was all part of this plan.
The scheme.
It's brutal.
It is. And it makes you think about trust, and how fragile it can be.
And it forces Lottie to confront her own vulnerability.
Yeah.
Which is something she's been trying so hard to protect after what happened with Bry.
Right.
Her ex.
But what I admire so much about Lottie is that despite all the pain she's endured, she still has this incredible capacity for empathy and compassion.
She does.
I mean, take, for example, that scene where she risks her life to rescue the Arctic fox.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It's not just about saving an animal.
Right.
It feels like it symbolizes something deeper.
I think you're right.
Like it speaks to her inherent courage.
Yeah.
And this need to connect with something beyond herself.
Almost like she's saving herself in a way. Rescuing herself from the traps of her past.
That's a really interesting interpretation.
Yeah, it gives that scene a whole other layer of meaning.
And it makes me wonder what other symbolic elements are woven throughout this story.
Oh, I'm sure there are plenty.
Are there clues that we've overlooked?
That's the beauty of Morgan's writing. She layers the story with symbolism and invites us to dig deeper and find our own interpretations. It's like she's giving us these two contrasting settings, right?
Yeah.
You have the cozy, safe atmosphere of the inn.
Right.
And then you have this raw, unpredictable wilderness.
What do you think she's trying to say with that?
Well, I think the inn represents this kind of emotional shelter.
Okay.
A place where Lottie and Matt can kind of let their guard down.
Yeah.
And, maybe start to explore their feelings for each other.
But then the wilderness is almost like a reflection of the risks they're taking.
Right. It's danger.
By opening up.
For forgiving each other.
Exactly. And we see their relationship evolve within those settings in some really interesting ways. Like, remember that scene where they get lost in the woods after dinner? Oh, yeah.
It's dark. They're both on edge. And then Lottie slips and almost falls.
Okay.
And Matt catches her.
Yeah.
And there's this sudden shift.
Yes.
It's like this charged moment of closeness.
It gave me chills.
I know.
Because they're physically vulnerable.
Right, lost in the dark.
Yeah, and it creates this deeper connection between them.
Absolutely, like they're forced to rely on each other to survive.
Both literally and figuratively.
Exactly. And then there's that whole, fake friends agreement.
Oh, right.
Where they decide to pretend to be friends in front of their siblings.
To keep things from being awkward.
Yeah, for the sake of the holiday.
But we all know how those things usually go.
Oh, totally. Fake feelings have a way of turning real.
Especially when you're trapped in a remote Norwegian cabin with someone.
Right.
I was practically screaming at the pages, just admit you like each other.
The sexual tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife.
It is. They're constantly pushing each other's buttons.
Right, all that witty banter.
Yeah.
But you can tell there's this undeniable chemistry.
It's like they're trying to convince themselves
Yeah.
that their feelings aren't real.
But their actions betray them at every turn.
Like that scene where they're snowed in at the end.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And they have to share a bed.
What could go wrong?
I know, talk about a recipe for disaster.
Or maybe a love story.
I mean, Morgan really doesn't shy away from that tension.
No, she doesn't.
And I appreciate her nuanced approach.
Me too.
Because it's not just about physical attraction.
Right.
There's a genuine emotional depth to their connection.
They're sharing these intimate moments.
Yeah.
Revealing their vulnerabilities.
It feels both passionate and tender.
And it makes that eventual kiss all the more satisfying.
Yes. But then, just when things seem to be going so well,
uh-oh,
Matt pulls back.
Oh, no.
He declares that he doesn't do relationships.
Classic running scared.
I know. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut.
This is where his past trauma really comes into play.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been hurt before. He's seen his own father's destructive behavior.
Right.
And I think he's convinced that he's incapable of having a healthy relationship.
Like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He pushes Lottie away before she can get too close.
And Lottie, of course, after what she went through with Bry,
right,
is terrified of being vulnerable again.
She's built up all these walls.
And it's just when it seems like Matt might be the one to break them down, he reinforces her biggest fear.
Which is
that she's not worthy of love.
It's heartbreaking.
It is.
But it's also incredibly realistic.
So many people carry that baggage into new relationships.
Afraid of repeating old patterns.
Makes you wonder if it's possible to break free from those patterns.
Right. Can they overcome their fear?
Can they allow themselves to be happy?
I don't know. Guess we'll have to keep reading to find out.
And I love how Morgan brings the supporting characters into the mix.
Oh, yeah, they're fantastic.
Lizzie Rose, Penny Bex, Daniel.
They each play such a vital role
I know.
in supporting Lottie and Matt.
And the female friendships are so strong.
So good.
I was like, I need friends like that in my life.
Rose and Penny, they bring the humor.
Yeah.
And the lightheartedness.
And in Bex.
Bex is amazing.
She's like that brutally honest best friend.
She is.
And you know the one who pushes you out of your comfort zone?
Yes.
Remember that hilarious scene in the hot tub?
Oh my gosh.
Where she makes Lottie wear a swimsuit?
And basically gives her a pep talk about self-love.
Bex is the best.
And Daniel.
Oh, Daniel.
Such a sweetheart.
I know.
And his relationship with Bex.
So heartwarming.
It proves that genuine supportive love exists.
It does.
And then you have Matt's father, Craig. Talk about an antagonist.
He's like the embodiment of everything Matt fears becoming.
Manipulative, controlling, driven by greed.
Yeah.
Just casting this shadow over Matt's life.
That scene where Craig tries to blackmail Matt.
Oh, yeah.
Threatening to reveal that secret about Lizzie's son, Leo. Intense.
So intense, it really raises the stakes.
Makes you think, how far would you go to protect your family?
Right. Would you sacrifice your own happiness?
To shield someone you love from pain.
It shows how much Matt has grown since the beginning of the story. He's willing to stand up to his father.
Yeah.
To break free from that toxic influence.
Even if it means risking everything.
And that confrontation scene between Matt and Craig.
So good.
It's a turning point.
Raw, emotional.
Oh, liberating.
He finally chooses his own path.
Yeah, he rejects his father's control.
Embraces his own values.
It's a moment of redemption. Showing that we're not bound by our past or our family's mistakes.
We have the power to choose differently.
And in that moment of defiance, I think he really earns Lottie's respect.
And maybe even her forgiveness.
Maybe.
But it's interesting because even after that confrontation,
Yeah.
Lottie still struggles with her feelings.
Of course she's been hurt so deeply.
It's not easy to just forget.
And move on.
It's a process.
Forgiveness is a process.
And Morgan portrays that so honestly. So as we head into the final part of our deep dive,
Okay.
the question remains, can Lottie and Matt bridge the gap between their past hurts and their present feelings?
Can they forgive each other?
And build a future based on honesty and trust?
I can't wait to find out.
I know, but what's so remarkable about this story is that it really delves into the complexities of human relationships.
Absolutely.
It challenges us to examine our own capacity for forgiveness.
To confront our past traumas.
And to believe that maybe, just maybe, second chances are possible.
Even amidst the snow-capped peaks of Norway.
It's like they're both carrying so much baggage from the past.
Yeah, like they're haunted by these ghosts of past hurts.
It shapes their beliefs about themselves and about relationships.
Like Lottie's terrified of being vulnerable.
Right.
And Matt's convinced he can't love.
It's almost like they're destined to be alone.
Well, and it keeps them from really connecting.
But then again, it makes them so human.
Right, like we all have those moments where fear gets in the way.
I know, it's like we sabotage ourselves.
Exactly.
But what I appreciate about Forgive, Forget, Fall is that it doesn't leave them stuck.
No.
Lottie, with the support of her friends.
Right.
She starts to see her worth.
And Matt, through his actions, especially that confrontation with Craig.
Oh, yeah.
He shows that he can break free from those toxic patterns.
That confrontation scene was so powerful.
It was.
When Lottie finally confronts him about Project Revenge.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I mean, the raw emotion in that exchange.
It's like a dam breaking.
Yeah, all that hurt and anger comes pouring out.
And it's a catalyst for growth for both of them. Lottie finds her voice.
Yeah, she demands honesty.
Accountability.
And Matt has to face the consequences.
It's a turning point for their relationship.
For sure.
But also for them as individuals.
And it's not just about romantic love either.
No.
This book really explores the complexity of family.
Right. Especially the relationship between Matt and Lizzie.
Their loyalty is fierce.
It's so powerful.
They'd do anything to protect each other.
And it reminds you that family isn't always blood. It's the people who choose to stand by you.
Too thick and thin.
And even Charles, you know, he made mistakes.
He did.
But he steps up.
He does.
When Matt and Lizzie need him.
That scene where Charles and Kenneth confront Craig.
Ooh, chills.
So good.
Talk about a power move.
They're not letting him hurt their family anymore.
It's a testament to the strength of their bond.
Yeah, this unwavering love.
That can exist even when there's been hurt in the past.
It all comes back to that central theme of forgiveness.
Right. Can we truly forgive someone who's caused us pain?
even if they're family?
Especially if they're family.
I think that's a question we all grapple with.
I think so too.
And this book offers a really nuanced perspective.
Yeah.
It shows that forgiveness isn't this simple thing.
No, it's a process.
It takes time and introspection.
And a willingness to let go of anger and resentment.
Which can be so hard.
It is. It's not a linear journey.
Right. There are setbacks. Moments where it feels easier to hold on to the hurt.
But Forget Fall really emphasizes that forgiveness is essential.
For healing and growth.
Absolutely, for both ourselves and others.
I don't want to give anything away.
Right.
But I have to say, the ending really left me with a sense of hope.
It's a satisfying conclusion to their story.
It is. It shows the transformative power of love and forgiveness.
And it leaves us with this lingering question.
Oh, yeah.
If we could remember a past life, would we want would those memories hold us back or empower us to make different choices?
Wow, that's something to think about.
It is.
Forget Fall is definitely a story that stays with you.
It does.
It reminds us that second chances are possible.
That love can heal.
Even the deepest wounds.
And that sometimes
most beautiful journeys
begin in the most unexpected places.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, happy reading, everyone.